live. I want to see.
I'll tell you. I'll do a thumbs up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Cookie Lunch with my friends. For those of you who are just joining us, we do lives every Tuesday and Friday. And you can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Hani Vakova, and I am a creator and I am a video creator, blogger, recipe developer at hanielas.com. And today I am super excited to be hosting today's live with my friends Marlene of Montreal Confections. Oops. Oh, this is sorry.
Let's just pull this out.
Okay, I'm a little nervous here. This is the first time trying something different.
Yeah. So here we are.
Us, guys. So in today's live, we're going to go back to Day of the Dead. You guys requested this last week. So Amber of Sweet M's and Marlene of Montreal Confections, both of you are going to decorate Day of the Dead cookies.
We're going to try.
Are you?
Do we go through the little welcome? I see there's quite a few comments.
Hello, everyone. Yes, as I said, you guys can watch on YouTube. Those of you who don't have Facebook, this is really great feature from the software we are using. So you can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. And on Facebook, there is a great option that you guys can support us through stars. That was a little video that played in the beginning, and some of you were asking about that. So I wanted to just show you where you guys can support us or how you guys can support us. So under the video, you can see in the comment section, there is a little star. It's highlighted in green. So that's how you guys can add stars to the comment. You, however, have to pay for the stars. It's not a feature that Facebook is going to pay us. You guys are contributing to the star bucket that we then get 1 penny for 1 star. So last week we got some stars from you guys. Thank you so much for the support.
Thank you.
Thank you for
And I also wanted to tell you guys, we get lots of questions about previous lives. So if you missed the live, no worries. You can watch it later. And this is how you can get to it. So you go on our page, either Sweet M's, Montreal Confections, or on Hanielas. And here at the top, you see Live tab. So you click on it, and this page will open up, and you can scroll down to all the lives we did in the past. So that's how easy it is. And so today we are who's going to kick it off today, Amber or Marlene?
I'm just going to go through though. Hi, Holly, Carol.
Oh yes, yes. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Sandy's here. Amy's here.
Puerto Rico. We have Wendy from Holland.
She's watching on the big screen today.
Sherry, can somebody pronounce this? Sherry?
Jeremy.
South Carolina, can you pronounce the town? I can't. Yemen is, I don't know. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know
Sherry? Do you see it?
Yeah. Yamasi?
Yamasi, I guess. Okay. Hi, Sherry. Lisa, we have Denise. Hi, my first time live. My lunch break is almost over though. Well, yeah, like I said before, you can watch us again after, you can come back and watch the live from a replay. I have you on a big screen today. Oh, I have you on the, thank you. I guess you're watching on a big TV then. Greetings from Michigan, Chicago, North Dakota, Minnesota, Long Island. Hello, hello. Hey, June, Texas. We have lots of people watching on YouTube. Thank you for joining us today. And also from Facebook, as always.
Welcome. So, Han, did you want to kick it off? No, sorry, Amber. Amber, did you
I'm
want
not decorating today, so Amber is going to decorate. One more thing I wanted to say. I'm gonna try not to interrupt our cookie decorators today while they are decorating. So if you have any questions, please do leave them in a comment section, and we will get to them when they catch a little break, so we don't interrupt them while they're working.
And maybe if you have a specific question for one of us, maybe just start with like our initial and then a dash, so we know who you're speaking to, if you're speaking to one of us specifically.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, or you can just say question for Amber or question from Marlene, so we know who the question is from or for.
So here, Amber, there you go.
Yeah, hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amber. I am the owner of Sweet Ams, and I make cookie decorating video tutorials. I teach online classes, and I have a line of cookie decorating kits. And I also have a subscription on Patreon, so you can kind of get more tutorials. I do an exclusive one every month for my patrons. And also my patrons get access to my cookie and icing recipe and some of my premium video tutorials. So you can see there, you can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can shop at Global Belly. Yeah, and I also wanted to mention, so Hanny was talking about stars earlier on Facebook, and you can also contribute to us through Super Chat on YouTube. So that's kind of like the same thing where it's sort of a virtual tip jar to kind of help support these videos and help us to keep creating them for you. So I will go ahead and get started. I'll show you what I'm making.
Hold on, let me get your hands in there.
Okay.
There we go.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's beautiful. Wow, okay.
We did not see that before.
You did not show us that before. I had no idea what was going on.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, one of the leaves came off. We'll just fix that later. So this is my sugar skull inspired design for today's theme, Day of the Dead. Just get this out of here. So I did a little bit of this ahead of time, so I'll just show you if I can figure this out.
Here, do you want me to get it? Remember? There you go.
Do the other one first, if you can.
Oh, this one, I didn't see you added this one. Okay.
Okay, so here I am using a template to cut my cookie out of a chilled sheet of cookie dough. This template is available on my website. If you look up Galaxy Skull Cookies at sweetams.com, you'll find that template. And I'm also going to make this template on my Patreon, so it'll be easier to find. So I'm just taking it off of the...
Is this your... I'm sorry to interrupt. Is this your pumpkin?
This is my pumpkin. Yeah, I'm going to show you that in a second. So I baked it just using the template to kind of outline my face where that's going to go, and then I'm going to just put a little bit of black icing there. I just wanted it to be a very thin layer to kind of keep the dimension of the skull. I didn't want it to be all one kind of height. So I'm just smoothing the icing on there, and then just an offset spatula. So you got to let that dry, and then
I played it now?
Yeah, do the other one. So that just has to dry for a few minutes. Take the template again and then trace those face parts just for the flooding, which is the next step. And the icing the black icing was medium consistency, which is like a soft peak icing. And then this is flood consistency with the decorating tip number 3. So I use 15 to 20 second count icing. That means that you take a scoop of it and drop it back into the bowl, and it should take 15 to 20 seconds to be completely smooth. So I'm just filling that in, going around my template that I traced before, and then using the scribe tool to kind of bring the icing to the edge and help shape it a little bit. So that's what's going on there. And then, so I think, yeah, that's good.
We should probably say that that's not the speed you usually work at.
No, definitely not.
The video was slightly sped up, folks. I know, don't get confused you're going the right speed, because that's not how
Yeah,
fast
that
we
was
can work.
very, very sped up. Oh, Sandy said she made the pumpkin spice recipe. Awesome. So that recipe is available on my Patreon, so you can make it from scratch with that recipe. I just posted it last week. This is my cookie mix, which you can also use. That's available on my Global Belly store. So this particular cookie that I made for this project, I used my cookie mix and added some pumpkin puree and pumpkin spice. So you can make it from scratch, or you can get the mix. And then I also have some royal icing mix too. That's also in my Global Belly store. So that's that. And then, so this is dry. This is like hard because I'm going to be decorating on top of it today. So that had to dry overnight. And then I will take my scribe tool again. And then, so I just took the scribe tool to make some outlines for where I want the teeth to go. So it really shows up in the black icing. It's kind of like scratching on a piece of slate almost. And then I'm going to take medium consistency icing, which is soft peak. And then I'll just fill in the teeth. So I'm using medium icing here because I want it to be easy to smooth out with my scribe tool, but not so thin that it runs all over the place. So this is going to keep kind of the shape of the teeth.
You have an Easter cookie there.
What? Oh, yeah.
Well, there goes an idea.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a question. Would you say it's bone dry? I guess the icing, when you were scratching it, I assume that was.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes. Okay, so we'll just fill these in. Yeah, this is a good time for questions if anybody has.
Do we need to pay for a template?
This one, no. This one is on the website, or my website already, for free. So if you go to sweetams.com and just search for the sugar skull.
Lori has a question about, I wonder if stacking cookies on top of each other before decorating contributes to butter bleed when royal icing is added. Your thoughts? Thank you.
Sorry, getting over a cold here. I don't know. Does somebody else want to take that?
I would.
Well, I would say don't stack the decorated cookies.
Yeah, I buy really inexpensive at the, like, you know, where you buy your cake supplies. They sell these really thin sheets that they use when they serve you donuts at the donut store. It's really thin, kind of like a tissue paper, but not. And I actually lay that in between my cookies, and it's enough to cut the grease transfer. So that's an option.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We have a question from Marie. Question is, how long do a cookie is good for eating?
When they're heat sealed in individual cello bags, they're good for up to like 4 weeks, I've found.
Yeah, I agree. When we say heat sealed, we mean we use a gadget. It's a heat sealer.
Mm-hmm.
It basically melts part of the poly bag and it seals it, so it's airtight. You can also use, Marlene, you have those, right? It's a tape.
Yeah, but that air, if you live in a climate with humidity, you know, the littlest opening will leach, like go into your bag. So the heat sealer really closes, you know, any kind of transfer of moisture. If you do live in a humid climate, it's worth the investment.
This is a good, quite interesting question. I was watching the Great British Bake Show last night, and they were using apple brandy in the icing. Have you ever used flavored alcohol in an icing? If so, how did it affect your cookie decorating?
I have not. Have you?
Well, actually, I did one time during
Okay.
the cookie challenge. The show, they wanted they had like smoked stuff, and so they had like, I think, bourbon. So you're in a panic, right? So I put the bourbon in the icing, and then when I tasted it, I literally threw it in the garbage because I hated it so much. It was so gross. I didn't serve it. I didn't like it.
I think if it was maybe like fruit flavored, like you're mentioning apple brandy, I think that might be nice.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would do like instead of vodka or anything like that. It might be too much. But I have not tried it. But the only thing is, I would think that it might evaporate. No, what do you think? Like like if you use that in royal icing and then you well, if it's in the bag, I guess it wouldn't.
Well, yeah, because I paint on my icing with alcohol and you can't taste it. But I'm not using like, I'm just using clear.
Yeah. So I think flavored might be like fun to use, but no idea how it affects anything. We haven't tried it.
So the next thing I'm going to do is pipe my roses. So this is a decorating tip 104 because I want to make some pretty big roses here. So it's got a narrow end and a wide end. And I'm just going to put a little bit of icing on my flower nail so I can...
Is that pink or red?
Pink. It's a Chef Master Deep Pink.
Very nice.
That's very nice. Chef Master. I'm putting all of this info in the comments, folks, just so you know. Chef Master Deep Pink.
I'm going to pipe this with the wide end on the parchment paper. And I've got this is just a flower nail. So I'll just make a little blob of icing there. That's just going to be the center of the flower. It kind of holds everything together. And then I'm going to just wrap this all the way around. So you have a small opening at the top. And then I'm going to pipe 3 petals. So this icing is very stiff. It's the consistency of the icing when it comes off of the mixer. So with no other extra water added.
Do you, just to interrupt, Mary's asking, can you show how thick your icing is? Like it's
yeah, I don't have any in a container right now, but I'll squeeze some out so you can see after this rose. I'm just going to do 5 petals around the outside here.
So the great thing about these, right, Amber, you can make them in advance.
Oh yeah, you can make these way ahead of time and just store them for months, years, right?
Yeah. Just don't let them sit in the direct sunlight.
Yeah,
they will fade. They will definitely fade.
So this is gotta dry overnight. But I have dry ones here, of course. So I'll just show you on this little paper here the consistency of this icing. So it holds its shape. I don't know if that makes it any better, but
it's very stiff. Like it doesn't have, nothing falls down, no peak falls down, right?
Stiff peak.
Yeah, it has to have stiff peak. Yeah, I was just going to highlight that comment. How many flowers did you have to make before you got good at it?
Oh, probably, I mean, I don't know, a couple hundred maybe. Just have to do it over. I don't know, like at what point I was like, oh, now it looks good. I feel like at the beginning when I started doing it, I was like, hey, this looks okay. And now when I look back at them, I'm like, oh, those were terrible. So it's like, I don't really know the point at which they got. You know what I mean?
But if you were happy with them back then, they were beautiful. They were nice, like that's.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the rose again just to show you, and then.
Can you? Yeah, we have Mary is asking
Yep.
if you can show one more.
And there is also a detailed tutorial on how to pipe roses as part of the premium tutorials on my Patreon.
This is a question here. You can Google that. You just look royal icing roses and you'll find them. There's all kinds of sellers.
Oh yeah, I think Wilton makes them too, right? You can just get them at Michael's.
Yeah, but you'll be shocked at how expensive the pre-made flowers. It's worth taking the time to practice and make your own because it gets very.
I think you can easily do like $1 a flower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes.
So if you're putting all your profits in pre-made flowers, there's not much left for you.
Whenever Katie's saying, whenever I try to make thicker royal icing, it's too thick to pipe. When I fin it, then it doesn't hold any tips.
Well, it might just be, I mean, like if you try to pipe very thick icing out of a small tip, you're going to have trouble. So it might just be that you're trying to squeeze it out of a tip that's too small.
And then I would say for piped flowers, I personally find that freshly made icing works best. Like I feel like I'm able to get the best results with freshly made royal icing.
And I think also a little bit more whipping. Maybe it's sometimes they just like combine the ingredients, but it's not necessarily a lot of air in there. And so the air does help for fluffiness, to make it more marshmallowy, and it is a little bit easier to pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Debbie also suggests whip it a little more, yes. That might help.
Also, like as you pipe more, it does get easier. So even though it feels hard to pipe out at the beginning, as you do it more, it gets like your hand gets stronger and it gets easier. Because when I first started decorating, my hands would hurt a lot, but now it doesn't bother me.
Well,
I would also suggest using smaller, right? Don't fill up your bag. You don't need to fill up 12-inch bag full of icing. It's better to have, see how much icing she has there. It's better to have smaller amount and then refill it. That's easier because you're gonna have to hold it for a long time. So it's easier to use smaller bags.
All right.
We do have a question, another question about roses. Sorry, Audrina is asking, where do you store the roses for them to dry?
For drying, they just have to stay out in the open. So I'll just leave them on my sheet tray, just out. And then once they're dry, you can put them into just a Tupperware in a cabinet.
And
Thank you.
I put June's up here just to show.
Oh,
this is for you, Amber.
Oh, yes. This icing is straight out of the bowl, stiff consistency with no extra water added. So if you're making my recipe, it's like 3/4 cups of water, and that's it for 2 pounds of sugar, powdered sugar.
Good comment from Jeremy. So I had the same issue early on, but then in a video, I figured I was holding the bag wrong. I was trying to push all the icing rather than just the front.
Yeah, so if your hand is all the way up here trying to push all this icing out, that's going to be really hard to do. So that's why I just hold a little bit in my hand. It's so much easier.
Can I just answer this? If you have a shot glass will work in a pinch. You turn it upside down and you can stick your parchment paper underneath the glass if you don't have an icing nail. And the other great thing about the shot glass is you can rest it on the table. If maybe it's uncomfortable for you to hold the little nail, you can kind of rest on the table. And
you can also use a meat thermometer.
A meat thermometer, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but it does get heavier it does get heavy as you pipe 200 roses. So if you plan on piping a lot, like in a pinch, yes, it's a great idea to use. So you have something that you can use. But if you are going to make a lot of piped flowers on a nail, it's best to have a flower nail because it's very lightweight.
And then I'll just bring this question up. I did not add white. This is actually, I know it looks red, but it's actually hot pink. This is Chef Master, what did I say? Chef Master Deep Pink.
Deep, yeah, Chef Master Deep Pink.
And I don't use white food coloring, but I know last time you two were talking about using white food coloring for something, and I don't remember.
Yeah, in the royal icing, it helps. White food coloring, it has some additives that can delay crusting if you're experiencing like excessive crusting, trying to do wet on wet. And it can also, well, it obviously will brighten your icing if you are really focused on having super white. But then what was the other thing, Mar?
I'm just getting a cookie.
Oh, the bleed, color bleed. It can also help with that, the color bleed. Yes, color bleed. Yes, I love these roses. I could watch you do this live. You don't mind doing that for an hour, do you?
Not at all. All right. Well, that I'll stop there and then pick it back up after you.
Mark. Oh, Sandra is asking, why do you use different bags, cloth, plastics, also tips and no tips?
Well, I use the cloth. I don't know what material this is. It's kind of like a plasticky fabric. They're reusable. So I try to use these as much as I can. So not to use so much plastic.
What brand is it?
This is Wilton.
Wilton, okay.
And then tipless bags, I just use when I need to make very tiny details and I don't have a small enough tip, so I can cut just like a tiny bit off the bag. So yeah, and then these, like, I would use a disposable bag with a coupler and a tip when I need to use a tip, but it's just either disposable or reusable, kind of the same use, basically.
Here, just to answer this, if you're just coming in, you can rewatch the live. It's saved it'll be available on the YouTube and Facebook in the live stream playlist. You can rewatch it if you want to catch up on what happened earlier. And so it's my turn?
Yep.
It's my turn. So here, let's go back to, I'll just do my little spiel quickly. So we're trying to do some introductions today since some of you might not know all of us. So I'm Marlene. My kind of online name is Montreal Confections. I use the same name everywhere. So you can follow me on the usual platforms. And I have a cookie school group. This is a little shot in the group of the Christmas tutorials. Those are previous years. This year's Christmas tutorials aren't up yet, but if you want step-by-step with templates and everything, so that's in the cookie school group. So I'm going to show you today what I'm working on. I wanted to do buttercream today. I'm trying to get rid of all this here. Let me switch the cameras. Add to stream. Is it this one? Yes, this one. And so today I'm going to be doing a buttercream kind of a version, but I just wanted to quickly show this. So last live stream I did these pumpkins with my berry chocolate, and I'll just flip them over so you can see. So this is the Costco cocoa, and this is the berry. So you can see the difference in depth of color.
This is the first time I'm hearing this, that you are supporter of Costco, and you're telling me that the Costco's cocoa is not as good as the other one.
Fine, it's fine, but if you like dark chocolate, obviously it's right there.
It's almost like it's black cocoa, right? The right on the pumpkin one.
I mean, it's black. It's like
black. It's black.
Yeah. But anyway, so these are both painted with white food gel, and I actually started the skeleton first, and then that's what kind of gave me the idea for this one. I'm using this paintbrush. Yes, it's the best. I don't work for Barry. Anyway, so yes, I got this, and I think it said on the internet, boar's hair. I don't know if this is actual boar's hair. It feels more like natural. And this is what I painted with. It's white icing. This is usually, I think they use this to make the buttercream, to take the yellow from buttercream, like make it more white. So I'm just brushing this on with this paintbrush. So I have it here in, I pre-filmed it. So I'll just, first thing, let's start from the beginning. So I'm rolling out the dough, and you can see it is much lighter there. So I use rolling guides. That's a question often we get. How do you get the thickness right? So I use rolling guides. That's a dough easy rolling system. And this is a two-sided cutter. And on one side you can cut, and then when you flip it over, you have a press to kind of create the face with it. This is a room temperature dough, so I'm not handling the cookies. I'm taking away the scraps and leaving the heads there so that I don't kind of skew them, since they have to fit together. I'm making sandwich cookies. And then I'm going to be using the press to like kind of get the face on. But because I rolled my cookies kind of the normal thickness, it wasn't deep enough to cut the eyes. So I did freeze them and then come back with a knife to really cut out those eyes. And so that's what I'm doing here. These are frozen again so that they don't shift. If you're handling room temperature cookies, trying to do all these things to them, they're going to get all wonky. So that's why it's important to, you know, to have them be frozen.
Okay, we do have a question about the cutter. I think it's kind of important. Where do you get the cutter? Oh no, sorry, it jumped. Sorry, here is the question.
I had done my Amazon store. Did you add that, Anne? Do we have it?
Yeah, we do have an Amazon store. Just going to quickly add it into the comments. So it is in so everything is in your Amazon store.
Yeah, but I did not. No success finding the exact cutter, but similar-ish. And I think the cutter itself is it's nice, but I think it's just the overall, like, you know, that when it was finished, it made it look a little bit better even. So while the cookies were frozen, I just brushed them on lightly with this with the white food gel, nothing special, and then I baked it. And it's funny, you can't really see it, but it almost looks metallic from here. It gave a really nice finish. And so I'm working with little wafer flowers. So I have wafer paper, and they sell these. It's exactly the size of a sheet of paper. And this is edible. And I brushed it on. I brushed on some luster dust. Usually I use petal dust. Petal dust would work, but this is shiny. And with a paintbrush, dry. Because if you add moisture to wafer paper, you'll melt it. And I just kind of painted them like that. Nothing really complicated. And you get a nice little kind of blush on the paper. And you can do this in advance. And then I got these little punches. They sell these. And I just punch out little flowers. They sell them in all different kind of sizes.
Yeah, I have hearts, pumpkins, leaves.
And
then, do you have those?
What?
Do you have those, Amber?
What do I have? What?
Punches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used those for the cookies that I made for my wedding 5 years ago. I made like little lacy wafer paper things with the punches.
Yeah, it's just an easy. And the thing about this is it's easy on the teeth. You know, they're very like they melt. And so here's the cookie. So this is royal icing because if you stack buttercream, it gets squished. It doesn't stay like royal icing. That's the great thing about it. You can package and it doesn't get all squished. You know, buttercream it doesn't dry. So I'm just adding 2 lines of royal icing to the top to kind of create like a crown. My tip was bigger, I see, on the other one. So it's just 2 stripes across. And then I'm adding a few little leaves. So the leaves are just a dot, and I'm kind of angling away to create kind of the look of leaves. I want them to lay flat so they don't break. And you're better to rotate so that you're at a good angle to work. And then I'm just going to add like 3 little dots to stick on my flowers. On the prototype, I did use 2 flowers. I staggered them with the petals like to be. So when you've got a little thing like this, sometimes tweezers are helpful. Just for not.
How far in advance can you make these?
Well, if you're doing them with nothing, you can put them in the freezer if they're not decorated. The wafer papers.
Oh, no, I mean the wafer paper.
Oh, the wafer paper, you can make those. It's like the royal icing flowers. You can make them a year in advance. Just they get kind of like, they kind of crack if they're super dry. So I do keep them in a sealed container, but very fast. I mean, spring is coming. These are little details that you can add to almost any design. And now I'm just switching out my piping tip. I think it dried. It was sitting there from yesterday. And I'm just adding a little dot of yellow icing to the middle of the wafer paper to create like a little flower middle. Just like that. And then these can dry. So this will allow to be stacked, whereas the buttercream, so the buttercream will be inside the sandwich. I'm just going to add the flowers to, should I do another one here? Where's my other heads? You see this one here, the food color got in the nose. So you want to try to not get too much of the food color so that you get that, like, makes those little indents show up more. And it's just a dot and pull. Very easy. If you don't want to decorate them, you can just add a gummy worm, go through the eyeball, and you have a nice Halloween cookie. The kids like that type of thing. And I'm just putting my little kind of spots where I want to glue them on. This is probably kid friendly. You can make all the little parts and have the kids put them together themselves for your evening. A lot of the stuff will be home this year, so. Oh, see, this one went on upside down. I do like the blush on them.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
We do have quite a lot of questions in regards to you brushing the food coloring on the cookies. Let me start with Linda. Did you thin the food coloring?
I added very little water, very little. Because it depends. I don't want to say, oh, add this much, because maybe your bottle is more liquidy than, you know what I mean? It's just so that you're barely touching the edges of these little bristles. So very little, because if you get it like very thick, then it stays clumpy on there. So you do want it to go on, like, you can see the brush strokes.
If it's the same stuff as I had, it's very liquidy, right?
Yeah, it is. It's not
liquidy. So yeah, make sure that you also give it a good shake. Another question in regards to paint. TB, sorry, I can't say your first name. For the paint, the cookie with white color, the dough is supposed to be frozen or raw?
I painted them raw. Come on, this one here. This one here. So this is the press again. So when you press into the cookie, it does cause an expansion, right? Because you're taking space on the cookie dough. So it pushes it out a little bit. So it's important to work with chilled dough. There's less movement. I think I do show it here, the painting right after this. So there's the holes cut out.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't clear. Yeah, it says it's raw. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
But frozen. Yeah, it's raw and frozen. Otherwise, I guess if it wasn't frozen, then it would also interfere with the cookie dough could get stuck on the brush or something.
Mostly so that I could handle them. You know, because I'm making a sandwich, I want both layers to stay the same. But yeah, I thought I thought they turned out like the raw was prettier almost than baked, but the baked was fine. There they are baked. That's right out of the oven. So they fit perfectly together.
Okay, this is great. And then we have a question in regards to 2 questions from Jeremy, and also Bobby was asking the same question. So you used was it petal dust or luster dust? I can remember now on the flowers.
On this one, I used luster dust. So petal dust has no like metallic. It's more of a matte. I like that for blush on my characters. Luster dust is more shiny. It has a bit of a metallic. I don't know if you can see it here.
It has mica, right? Mica. See how, yeah.
And so it depends on the application that you're using it for. Like this, I thought it was pretty to have it a bit shiny. I don't really like it on the blush when I do my character cookies. Like I don't want my snowman to have super shiny cheeks, just pinkish.
Mm-hmm.
Petal dust is mainly used in when you're making gum paste flowers. A lot of them, right? Petal dust, that's where it's usually used. For fondant applications. It's not right. In royal icing, we usually just use it for the cheeks, or maybe some, right, or highlight something. Amber, you used brown petal dust for the antiquing, right?
Yes. What did I use? Oh, that was luster dust.
Oh, was it? Oh, when you did antiquing, when you scratch the icing.
Oh, that one.
That was a long time ago, but I remember you used brown.
Petal dust.
Yeah. All right. So, any other questions? I love these.
So you can see the difference in the piping tip. So this was actually a 2 piping tip on this one, and this one is a 1.5. So it's up to you if you want to have a fatter line. I thought I had the same piping tip, but looks like I didn't. I do kind of like the fatter one, more color. It brightens it up a little bit. But this one, they're both nice there, but depends on the size. So you do see a difference. But that's it for. And so this can dry overnight, and then the next day you can kind of assemble them. So we'll do that after. So are we caught up with our questions?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, Mary has question, is that a bread mat?
Yes, it is.
You bake them on a bread mat? Okay.
Yes, it is. It's what is it called? A perforated baking mat. And I find, here you can see it, I find that the cookies, see, this is parchment paper. You see, you get some air pockets and such.
Mm-hmm.
You get a really nice back.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
On your cookies. These.
I have those. I haven't used them yet. For the cookies, anyway.
These are actually still hot. I'll just put them, I just baked these. And so you can see.
Oh, do I sense a platter some sort?
Yeah. And so here you can see it does a really nice job.
Where did you get the wafer from? Wafer paper?
The wafer paper, I got it from Amazon. That's such an inexpensive decorating tool. You can get like 100 sheets for $10 or something. Really very, very affordable. I don't think I have that in my Amazon store, but you just look wafer paper and hippie skulls. Sure. I mean, you can add fondant flowers. You can add, a little pearls, little, different things.
Okay, so the question Mary has in regards to the mat, does the mat changes your baking time? The use of
no, I wouldn't say no. I did not find actually that it impacted that, but the back sides of them is very nice, and I do find that they hold their shape more. So that's it. So we'll put Amber's hands in, switch out the hands.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
All right. So now I'm going to add my colorful decorations. I'm going to start by doing some brush embroidered flowers in the eyes. So I'm using stiff consistency icing again. This is, I mean, it's a little bit thinner than stiff. It's not stiff like the roses. So probably just like a few little drops of water in there.
Like yogurt?
No, thicker than that. Still thick. This is a tip 2.
This is like your the same petals as your brush embroidery flowers you do, it looks like.
Yes. So I'm just taking a thin brush, dipping it in water, and then blotting it on a towel. And then just brushing the icing toward the middle.
Here, is he right? You right, Amber? Jeremy wants to know if this is your favorite technique.
Yeah, I'd say so. This one and filigree, of course. Those are like the 2 that I always do when I'm, just for everything, basically. I try to incorporate it. You can use it for making flowers like this, or for wings on a bird. I've done it for mermaid tails, all kinds of things with this technique. And this is something that I learned about like, I guess it was 13 years ago when I was in culinary school. I saw this technique on a cake. And I just thought it was so cool. I couldn't even figure out how it was done because the flowers were kind of like bending over the edges of the layers. And it was just like, I'd never seen it before. So I thought it was so cool. And then I just asked my friend, like, how did that, I don't know who made the cake, but my friend knew how it was done. So she told me, and then I tried it on cookies, and it, I never looked back. So I'm just taking off some of the icing as I brush, because you want to be able to see the layers, the black icing underneath. You kind of want it to be translucent a little bit. And I'll do another layer of petals in there.
Do you let it dry or crust?
No, you can just go right ahead with the next one. It's actually, I find it better if you don't let it dry in between, because then you can still kind of work with that first layer by taking icing away and keeping it translucent, not making it too thick.
Would you say it's important to have a different background color, like to not work the same color on this? You know what I mean?
It's just a different effect. Like, I've done it with the same color, and it's still pretty cool because you can see the difference.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a different kind of effect when you do it with different colors. And then I'll just make a little flower center.
Did you draw this before, or did you just go to town?
No, I drew it a little bit. I made a sketch first. So if you're just starting out with brush embroidery, it's a good idea to just do one petal at a time, because you don't want the icing to dry before you brush it. But once you get faster, you can do 2 or 3 petals at a time. So what's going on?
Well, we're just like somebody wrote here this so we're just being quiet and
Yeah.
We're just being quiet.
we're being
I think we all need a little. It doesn't hurt to be. Silence is healing.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a question. This is from Marlon, though. Is the baking mat like I think they're called Silpad? You know, the silicone mat. It's not.
No, it's not. It's actually got holes in it. It looks like a screen in your window. It's like it got
But
holes.
it is not a screen. Do not use that for baking. But it is. It's a good. I like that. It does look like it, though. It does look like it. It is flexible. It is a silicone, but it's not like it's not solid. It's perforated. There are little. It's like what's when you do the cross stitch?
Yeah,
What's the
exactly.
material for the cross stitch? The fabric, cross stitch fabric. So it looks like that, but it is a silicone, I think.
Okay. Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you charging for that cookie?
It's not for sale.
This is the second one that I've made of these today, and that's all that I will make of this.
No, but if you were to charge, if somebody wanted to sell it, what would your recommendations be?
Oh, that's too hard for me to say because it just takes. I mean, it took like 3 hours just of decorating time for this.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't include baking time, making the icing, mixing the colors.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of your ingredients.
Well, our lives are not necessarily for you to do exactly the same designs we show, but it is to inspire you. So maybe maybe you like the eyes with the brushed embroidery. You can maybe simplify the teeth so it doesn't take as long, or you can make it your own and include a detail that you really like, and still make it worth the while.
Yes. So my cookies go to friends and family. I don't sell them anymore. And yeah, my tutorials are just mainly for inspiration. So, I wouldn't expect anybody to make a whole set of these, like 4 dozen. But maybe you would make one as a centerpiece for a bunch of other cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. A lot of times you see, I think you've done those, right? More platter, where you include some really basic, just flooded cookies, and then maybe you include few that are more elaborately decorated.
Mm-hmm. And this, I mean, if we look at the actual holiday, the Day of the Dead, I mean, this is a labor of love. This could be a gift for somebody. I mean, this is, this whole holiday is based on, it's such a beautiful holiday. I mean, you're remembering those that have passed on. So you can just pour your heart out in it. Could be therapy for you. So many people use cookie decorate or discover cookie decorating in difficult times in their lives.
Yes.
It can be quite therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm just going to pipe some filigree designs around the face.
What tip are you using now?
This is still a tip 2.
So Amber is using tip number 2.
Yes.
Is that the one you use? Is that your favorite? Is that your most common?
1, 2, and 3 are the ones that I use the most.
If you're just starting out, I would just like to point out it's easier if you start with a larger tip.
Yes, that's so
Definitely,
true.
you'll get better, nicer results because with a finer tip, you really have to have like super fine control over what you're doing. So thicker tip gives you some room for mistakes, I would say. And
So,
it's easy, and it's easier on your hands as well, because the
Mhm.
larger the hole, easier the icing comes out.
The downside about using these fabric bags is that I just have no idea what color is inside. So I have to, every time I pick up a bag, I have to look, like I just squeeze some out to make sure.
See. Is there a way to color code
I mean,
them
you can maybe
somehow
use like an edible marker.
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you'll have it all over your hands.
Oh, yeah.
Or you just put it like up where you're not touching.
Yeah.
You know.
Dina is asking, will I be able to watch this from the beginning? Yes, Dina, yes, you will. If you can find our Facebook pages, you can look it up on Sweden, Marlene of Montreal Confections, or Haniela's. So you can go on either of those pages, and then at the very top, you'll see tab that says live. So when you click on that, it will open up a whole gallery of live videos that we've done in the past. And this video is also going to, I'm not sure if it's included there now, but it is going to be after the live stored there.
Yeah, it has to get kind of like ready, like after the live.
The live is still happening at this moment.
Yeah.
So the live is still on the feed, but once it's done with, it will be stored there. Mary is asking, are these Wilton tips or Atiko tips?
These are Wilton tips. Good question. Because they do, the sizes are a little bit different, the different brands. I mean, I could just do this all day, you know, like adding more and more decoration.
Well, it looks pretty cool. So now what you're doing, you're basically layering your clay,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, what is it called? The Lambeth, is that it? You know?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
June will know. June, are you still on the call? You took the class, I think. She will know. Oh, June, I think.
Oh.
Took the class. I think if I remember correctly.
She answered. She wrote, "What?" That's why I'm laughing.
I thought you took the decorating class for the, the special, the piping river icing. What's it called? It started on L, right?
Lambeth or something.
Lambeth method, I think. I missed the question. You know the class you took with the like very fancy. Okay, let me just look it up because now I need to know. I think it's a lamb.
Yeah, she wrote it. It's that.
Yes, Lambeth method of cake decoration and practical pastries. Okay, yes, this is that. Amber, are you using magnifier to work? Tracy is asking.
No, I'm not. But
I think because in the camera, Amber, we see your phone or something in front of you, and it kind of looks maybe like you're.
Oh, yeah, this is my phone.
Yeah.
But actually, a friend of mine who does live streaming coloring, the coloring books that she uses have very tiny details, so she has a magnifying glass in front of her workspace. So yeah, maybe that's something I should look into because sometimes they'll be really tiny.
Doesn't it hurt your eyes though, looking through the magnifying glass for a long time?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
I guess I would be afraid what I get to see. I mean,
I know. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to look too close at your work.
Here's one. Mine don't stay crunchy because when you put the icing on, the moisture goes into the cookie, so then they get a little soft. What about you guys? They ask Shaky Jean if your cookies stay crunchy.
Mine are soft because I put agave syrup in the recipe, so that kind of holds in the moisture and absorbs moisture around it.
Well, if you want your cookies to stay crunchy, I would suggest baking them for a little longer. I recently we are still in a process of moving, so we don't have any. I don't have any measuring cups, nothing. So I used glass, just figured out how much is a cup, and I baked cookies. And I was sitting here working, and then suddenly it's like, what's that smell? And I forgot to set the timer. And I thought I burned them, but rest assured they were amazing. They were like just golden brown around the edges. So if you do that and you decorate them, they should stay somewhat crunchy, I think. But other than that, yeah, my cookies, they will soften up a little bit. They will not be soft like soft cookie, like the ones you buy in the store that looks like more like a cakey style cookie.
Yeah.
But they will soften up a little bit, not significantly, but a little bit.
So these are the roses that I made earlier, but I made these the other day, so they're totally dry. I'm just going to peel these off the paper. Some crumbs there.
This here quickly, I just want to suggest something. Either your icing, maybe a little runnier, or you can take a paintbrush with cornstarch on it and tap them on the head to flatten them out.
You can do that. The way I pipe them so that I do like a little, here, I'll just pipe.
A macaron flip.
So you have to kind of do a little.
Yeah, that's like a macaron. It's when you watch them flip.
Yeah. Well, that's the technique. Right? Yeah, it's pretty amazing how fast they can go, right?
So if you want a larger visualization of it, watch the macarons getting piped, and you'll see them go with their hand.
All right. What color am I using here? Okay.
So Emma says she likes Amber's hair, and I like your green jacket, Em. And Han, I like your glasses. Thank you. These are like, I'm ashamed to say how old they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, these roses are huge, and it's royal icing, so you probably wouldn't want to bite into this. So maybe take these off before you eat it. That's what I would do.
How big is the cookie? This is a big cookie cutter, I think. Is it at least like 5 inches, right? Or something?
About. This is I hand cut this with a template.
If you have your hand, I've got my measuring tape. It's IKEA.
I don't know. It's probably 5.
So yeah, I mean, your hand is probably smaller than mine, but yeah, I think it's like at least 4.5, 5 inches. Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so many people are joining us still. So thank you for joining us. If you are just tuning in, we are finishing up at this point, but you can still watch the live from the replay. And if you have any questions, I'm sorry?
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not?
Oh, you're not? Oh, my goodness. Are you not done?
No, I'm not done. I can make my sandwich.
You're right.
Yes, sorry. Well, yes. So you are lucky because you still caught Marlin decorating. Yeah. All right, Amber. Right. What are you going to do now?
Tip 352, a leaf tip, has a V-shape opening. So I'll just put my leaves all around. Thank you.
So Fabiola, is this would you say that this is very traditional? Is this something that you guys would find traditional in Mexican culture? Fabiola is Mexican, so she'll give us her comments. I love the leaves. I think leaves are super fun to pipe. You see,
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I agree.
She gave a yes with an exclamation point.
All right, cool.
Thanks for joining us, Jeremy, as always. Our pleasure.
Oh, see you later.
See you later.
Thank you. All right, and then just one more thing to make it extra fancy. Gold luster dust with a little bit of alcohol. I'm using 151 proof vodka. You can also use grain alcohol. And the luster dust that I'm using is antique gold from Crystal Colors. You can find that at sugarpaste.com or on Amazon.
I do have a question, and this is for both of you. So, do you use the little jar from luster dust, and do you then dissolve all the luster dust, make the paint in the jar? Because I've been told a lot of people do that, and then they just close it up, and they don't have to use a palette or anything.
Oh, I sometimes do it in the lid because
in the lid. Oh yes, I guess. Yes, in the lid.
Yeah, because you can definitely like just reuse this over and over again once it's dry.
Yeah, so if you don't have a palette, you can just add a little bit of luster dust into the lid and add the alcohol.
Yeah, because I think if you're gonna be thinning out the entire jar, you might need to use too much alcohol for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I meant the lid. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just adding a little gold to the edges. So this dust is edible. So it's not like the super, super shiny stuff that you see sometimes, which is not actually meant to be eaten. It's,
non-toxic.
Yeah. So I like to use this just because I'm comfortable with that. It's not going to hurt you if you eat that other stuff, but it just, I don't know.
I'm going to have to excuse myself for a little bit. I think I have a visitor here, so
okay.
I'll see you in a few.
Okay. All right, so that's mine. And then here's I didn't do quite as much on this one, but you can just see the finished version here. So I
added the teeth. That's the difference. Yes, I like the teeth. I like the teeth.
So that's
beautiful.
Thanks.
Turned out great. So I'm going to pull out my simple. Pull out my simple.
Oh, look at those eyes. Oh my gosh.
So I like to use sixlets, and sixlets are chocolate inside, so easy on the teeth. So sometimes there's a lot of different decorations and products out there, but especially with cookies, cakes can be a little bit more forgiving to move stuff. But sixlets, if you're biting into a cookie, it'll be a little bit easier on your teeth. And so here's the back of the cookie. I did roll them the same thickness as I would roll like a decorated cookie. So if you're doing a sandwich, you might want them to be a little bit thinner. This is what it kind of looks like. Where's my, from the side. So it's like those, we see the, the big number cakes there, those giant cookie cakes that people do. So it's kind of like that. And then here's the purple. So the purple gets a bit hidden in the eyes because of the the eyeball, the actual eyeball. So here, I'm going to try to hold this so that you can see. So I'm piping, and when it comes out, you want to tuck that under. So it's curving, you see? And then you're kind of like doing so that you don't get like a point sticking out. So you're creating like a tucking of the icing. So then you're left with this on the edge, not these kind of like spikes.
Like did you mention that cookie cake, right? They do those layered cookie cakes. It's similar, or it's the same thing, basically, but on a smaller scale.
So you're just able to fill in the center, and if you want, you can add a bit more to the middle. And then you grab your other cookie, and these come together quickly. And then you just kind of sandwich it. And so it's up to you if you want to put the eyes, the candy, put the candy in there, but it's very easy.
I like it with the candy. That's really
just
cool.
go like that. Very, very fast. I'll do another one.
They glow.
Well, it's the top for me is the fact that it's so easy on the teeth, right? So many of these sprinkles are like concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So these are actually pleasant. So just, I'll go here. I think I can, and you're just tucking it in. And buttercream, you know, some people prefer a buttercream on their cookies. So this is the thing with buttercream, it's tough to get it super smooth. So this is a way to like kind of hide it, and you're getting a nice effect. And you're having the bear, like, I like the look of the bear cookie. It's, you know, it's just a different style. You can have a variety, some decorated and some like this. And then I did have these. I'll just show you them, but I didn't find it went with the style. These things. But if you want, you can use something like that.
Well, I like these better, actually. I think it just fills up the eye cavity nicely.
And they're fun to eat. The other ones aren't as tasty. The sixlets are good, you know? So that's it. I told you it was fast and I wasn't kidding. There.
Awesome.
So from the side. And then you can wrap them, you know, like you can wrap them because they're not getting, like the icing is not touching the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Here, let's put them back here. Or let's go this way. Or which, it's tough to put this, that's the thing I don't see. If we take ourselves out, we won't be able to talk. But there's Amber's and there's mine.
Very cool.
I mean, the smaller ones, you can take some of like a smaller cookie cutter like that, and you can make like smaller roses like she made, and you know, you don't want to go that, you can have them be a little bit more.
Yeah, just use, I use the 104, so use a 101 for a small rose, yeah.
Or a fondant mold.
Right.
That's an option, right? There we are.
We did have a couple questions. I wanted to address those. I think this was a question asked twice, or maybe it was the same person. So it was in regards to the roses. Can the roses be made out of meringue?
Oh, yeah. You and I have both done that.
Yeah, but not to decorate the cookies.
Right, just to eat.
Just to eat, yeah. Because as soon as you, depending on where you are, but meringue cookies will absorb moisture, so if it's very humid where you are, it will be pretty much like what, 10 minutes, 30 minutes maybe, and it will start little get little soft. So not on royal icing. I wouldn't do it. I have eaten cookies with meringue, and I've attempted to make them. I can't remember what they are called, but it wasn't. Can't remember what they're called. They were sitting on like a butter cookie, but they didn't get soft. Like they did not get soft. This was when I was growing up. I remember we would have them. I've attempted and I didn't succeed.
What I'm seeing more now is people using cookie dough in molds. So I wonder if you could like color the cookie dough with your pink food color and make like little cookies to stick, you know? So then it could be completely.
So what kind of buttercream did you use?
I didn't make anything really fancy today. It's just regular powdered sugar and butter for the live. These cookies are kind of old.
Okay, Mary, I've added Marlene's Amazon shop into the comments. So if you scroll up, you should find the link to the store there. And if you wanted to just quickly, you can I think, can they find you by looking Montreal Confections Amazon store shop?
On Facebook, I actually have a photo album with a few things from the Amazon store, like kind of my favorite tools. This one, have you used these, Amber? I have with royal icing. It's not good. Well, I have not liked it with royal icing.
Yeah, I haven't tried them.
No.
I have. I thought it gave good results with some practice, because you have to be very just like with buttercream, you have to have the technique mastered. Otherwise, it can kind of either work or not.
I found that it caused like a lot of pressure on the piping bag. So
Yeah.
Openings are kind of small.
Well, yeah, and then you're squeezing. You need because the coupler holder is ginormous, so you need so much icing to fill the coupler before you're getting any icing out to make the flowers.
I wasn't really getting high. I wasn't trying to get, like, when I did it, I wasn't going for the height of the rose. I was more going for just like outline. So it wasn't as hard. But yeah, I would agree, if it's if you're trying to get some height with it, then it's definitely lots of pressure on a piping bag and it can burst. And it's probably going to be hard on your wrist as well. Everybody's loving your eyes, 6 slats. Everybody approves.
Oh, very good. Well, they sell them in small bags. You can get them in a variety of colors. They might be a good option for characters. You could maybe get them in black. I've not seen them here in Canada in the black, but I think I'd prefer that than the sugar pearls.
All right, guys. So I think we can wrap it up for today. Thank you for everyone who joined us today. As always, you can rewatch the videos, today video and also previous videos in the playlist on Facebook. Is it going to stay on YouTube?
Yes.
The video stays.
The video stays also on YouTube on our respective channels, and we will be back on Friday and then again on Tuesday next week. What are we doing on Friday?
It's the last one for the month of October. October's already done. I mean, I don't know. Time flies in a pandemic. So we're going to probably do a breast cancer awareness, maybe a little brassiere or something like that, perhaps. So that's it. That's what I was thinking. The cookies are made.
All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Everyone, stay safe out there. Think positive, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.